2019, we took 3 months out to go sailing. This was the opportunity of a lifetime. Join us on our trip sailing the west coast of Scotland, the Hebrides and the Orkney Islands. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. Maybe hit that bell button to be notified of new videos.
Leaving Haunaray.
Where are we going?
Well, Loch Maddy I think we'll probably head for, but we might have a look at the entrances to Loch Eport along the way. So we're heading into Loch Eport, which is going to be our lunch stop before moving on to Loch Maddy.
We'd first seen this Loch Eport from when we were at the top of the mountain of Eval the year before, I think it was. And it looked stunning, but then we were disappointed because we read up about it and it's supposed to have notoriously poor holding. So we thought, oh well, we'll do a lunch stop there, that way we can keep an eye on things.
Good idea, yeah.
We went in and it's quite a tight, narrow entrance through almost like a quarry-like
I like
entrance. That was quite exciting.
I thought it was really pretty.
And you had to make some quite big turns to get into where we wanted to park, and there's a lot of reefs to get past and wrecks.
Wasn't there a wreck as well?
Yeah, there was some sort of wreck.
It was a bit nerve-wracking, and I think there was poor GPS reception. I can't help noticing we're very close to those rocks.
Well, that ones? Or those ones?
Oh,
much closer to those ones.
I meant those ones, hang on. Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Anchor in about 4 metres.
Yeah.
And we've got scope to go up to 3 metres. So yeah, 7, 14, 21, 20 to 25, because I don't think we're going to be here till high water. Well, we've got to be prepared for poor holding. So maybe a bit more change.
25, 30 metres of chain, something like that.
Lovely.
So we did put the anchor down and it did hold all right, but it was a little bit nerve-wracking with the reports of the poor holding and it being quite sort of littered with wrecks and reefs and things. But it made for a nice lunch stop. I think if it was really one of those really still days, I might have been tempted to stay and explore.
That was a lovely little lunchtime anchorage.
Yeah, it's Bagh, Biorain or something like that.
Something like that.
Anyway, it's a really tricky entrance, and I'm now going to find it's a really tricky exit.
Yes, good luck.
And the tricky bit now is that the tide's coming in, and I can't see the wreck and the rocks I'm trying to avoid. So it's about an hour and a half after high water, low water, and it's about a knot, 1.2 knots tide against us going out. Be a bit more interesting than
and then we anchored in the first little anchorage just round. You just started going into Loch Maddy, and then there's this lovely anchorage. It's actually got a couple of moorings in it as well.
Yeah.
But we anchored because we were feeling hardcore, I think.
We were probably worried that somebody might charge us for it. Not that they would, but
yeah. So we anchored there,
is
and I
that
remember.
Bagh, is it called?
Yeah, Bagh na
Maddy. Oh right, yeah, and it's really good because it's not that far into the locks. If you so you don't have to waste a lot of time coming and going to it.
Yeah.
And the winds for us we had a southerly component in them, didn't they?
Yeah.
And it's perfect for that.
Because we're going to be away from civilization a bit more this trip, I've bought a pressure cooker, and I must admit it's turning out to be really useful just as a big frying pan. So I haven't got the pressure cookery bit yet, but yeah, I'm really pleased with it. So it's my first experimental pressure cooker meal on the boat, and I'm cooking chorizo with white beans, so it gives us a bit of a flavour of Andalusia when we went earlier in the year. So my onions are sweated down nicely there, so I'm going to add a bit of red wine. Ooh, and it's even Spanish. So a healthy glass of red wine. And I'm going to reduce that by about a third. Right, I'm now going to add some white beans, and I'm trying dried beans, and I've soaked these overnight, and again it's just so I can fit more in the boat. I think we could stay afloat for about 3 months and never go shopping. We'll soon find out anyway. So we can go with white beans. Can of tomatoes and some tomato puree. Right, I've got everything in there now. I'm going to pressure cook this for 20 minutes. So it's had 20 minutes cooking, and then it's had 10 minutes sitting about, and now we've got to release the steam. Cool. Well, it still looks like a white bean stew.
Oh, it smells delicious.
Well, the next day we went ashore, and yeah, because there's a really pretty little ruined village right at the anchorage there. Yeah. We're in Loch Maddy, and it's pretty lovely, and the weather's pretty good, and it's warming up now. And so yeah, we've come ashore, and we're going to explore this little ruined village. We're inside this little ruined black house. And there's lots of other little buildings around the bay, and so we're just going to explore those a little bit, and then if we've got the energy we might try and scramble up the hill behind us, and we think that's called Teacuis, and that's North Lee, and yeah, see what the view's like from the top. And then I think we'd seen something marked on the map up that kind of cut. Yeah, up the valley from there, and I think I can't remember what it was calling.
Rock shelter.
That was it, rock shelter. Well done.
Yeah, according to the logbook.
Oh, well done. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a rock shelter marked on the OS map, and we thought that might make quite an interesting place to walk to. So we headed up that way, and then we got kind of carried away really, and eventually we ended up going up the mountain of Teacuis. But we disturbed some red deer on the way, so we ended up with close quarters with the red deer. And then all of a sudden we ended up in this area with 2 white-tailed sea eagles.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And we were obviously must have been close to where they were nesting, because they were at very close quarters. And we could see them circling around, and they go off to a mountain range in the distance, and then they would come back and circle where we were at, even though we were there. And the trouble is that we didn't want to disturb their nest, but we didn't know whether to go backwards or forwards because we couldn't work out where their nest was. So it seemed like we were probably getting closer and closer to the nest, and we tried a different direction and see if that helped. But anyway, as a consequence, one way or the other, we were obviously close to the nest, although we never found it. And we got some nice footage of the eagles.
It was amazing to watch them.
And they were massive.
Yeah.
And slightly intimidating, I thought.
Yeah, I must admit, it was amazing to see them, but you did kind of think, well, to what level would they go? To what degree would they go to protect their nest? You know, do they ever attack humans? And I never had to think about that before. Yeah,
they were certainly getting quite close, and it sounded like they were a bit fed up with us, didn't they? But eagles always make screechy noises, don't they?
Yeah, well, it was quite screechy, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was no paths, that's what I do remember, or anything like that. Once you got beyond that point, there was nothing, because we were approaching that mountain from probably the opposite angle to most people who walked into that mountain. So it was very much across country, so it was navigating without paths, and that was quite fun.
I like that, because I really didn't think it was that good an idea when we set off.
Yeah, I was quite keen for some reason.
You were keen and said, oh, let's go that way, and I said, well, which route should we go? And you just said, well, over that. And I just thought, well, that's just ankle-breaking territory waiting to happen.
And again, luckily it was a very dry part of the year, wasn't it? So it wasn't boggy underfoot. It was, and it was steep and very uneven, but it wasn't too bad underfoot.
There was a lot of scrambling, and it was great fun. But then there was it was varied, so you scramble a bit, and then there'd be some open bits. I remember in one of the bits of kind of open high moorland, coming across this ground nesting bird that laid its eggs. They were so well camouflaged, it would have been easy to just walk straight through it. But
you had to keep your eyes open for what wildlife you were disturbing in a way, because you're so far from the paths, if there is any paths around there. And visibility wasn't fantastic, but it was a nice bright day, but not fantastic visibility.
It was a bit misty, wasn't it?
A bit hazy, and it was very windy at the top. Yeah. And I took some footage from the top, I think, but whether it'll come out, we'll see. Down, I think I happened across what looked like a section of a crashed aeroplane as well.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And I looked that up afterwards, and that appears to be possibly a wreck of an aeroplane from there. I think we stayed a couple of nights there, and then we did a lightning dash into the actual pontoons at Loch Maddy, partly to get a shower. And we did go to the shops there, but we didn't actually stay overnight. We actually moved on.
We set off from Loch Maddy this afternoon, and it's been a beautiful, really bright and still day. Not much wind, but yeah, we've had a lovely motor up, and we've just arrived at Restless on a stunning evening with no wind, which was lucky because the entrance channel was nail biting, to put it mildly. But we're safely in, and yeah, I'm just cooking us a bit of hot smoked salmon for tea.
If anybody's been into Restless, they'll know what I mean when it's quite scary. You've got to make a turn into a very narrow gap into Restless, and then it's a reasonably compact anchorage once you're in there. But it's the entrance that I found particularly exciting, and you need a certain amount of water to get in there. You can't go in at low tide, that sort of thing. And then in a fit of madness, we took the visitor moorings, only to find out later on that nobody maintains them anymore. So I'm not recommending that. But it worked out; they were fine. So St Clement's at Restless is worth a visit. And yeah, we went ashore and explored the famous church.
That was beautiful.
We had some good light for the first time, and yeah, we did a bit of photography of the church. And the church for me is famous really because it's got a carving, a stone carving of a Berlin, which is a very characteristic boat of the area that is a little bit like a Viking longship.
What's the difference between a longship and a Berlin then? Well,
I'm sure there's probably many differences, but the key technological advance was that they had a rudder rather than a larboard. So it had a hinged rudder at the back, but it's what gave the Lords of the Isles and such like the ability to run the area so efficiently.
It's an amazing church. I've always fancied going, and I'd seen pictures of it, but somehow the carving's all the more impressive when you're there.
Some of them are quite risque, I seem to remember.
Yeah, they're a bit random.
Yeah, then there are ones with women's showing off their bits and things.
They're definitely random.
Yeah, I might have made that up, but yeah, no, there's some pretty weird stuff going on. Unfortunately, the inn at Restless is no longer an inn.
Yeah, that's a shame.
It's going to be a private house, but anyway, they're doing it up, so good luck to them.
It looks like it's going to be a stunning house.
Yeah. Restless is quite interesting, isn't it?
Restless is lovely.
Good place if you've got a camper van, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think there was a couple of camper vans that were sort of wild camping there.
Yeah.
How that will go on when it's a private house, I don't know. But at the moment, people were just camping out there.
I think we didn't sleep too well because the wind got up overnight, and the visitor moorings meant that the way they were placed, it probably was fine, but it felt like we were really close to one of the little islets and reefs on the outside of the harbour. When the wind's blowing and you're kind of looking at the back of your boat and thinking how close the rocks are, always far closer than they really are. But yeah, it felt too close for comfort. Next time we'll anchor.
I would anchor a little further towards the north of there.
Yeah.
Having said that, I'm not 100% sure I'll go back to Roddle
I
because it's so
think-
scary getting in and out.
I think we might go back, but by land.
By car.
Yeah.